Coming at you live from KG5 for what should be a pretty titanic tussle between two top teams in South Hobart and Hobart Jeep Zebras. It's second versus third. A lot riding on it in terms of table position, but there's always a lot riding on matches between these two proud clubs. I'm Damian Gill from FFT, bringing this one live to you with the Drewster Rooster, Andrew Cooling, alongside me. Drewy, what do you expect from today's tussle?
I expect a great battle, Damian. We've got very high stakes today, particularly out with Olympia slipping up yesterday, just opening the door for these two teams to put themselves right back up there in the title race. We'll start the day, South Hobart 4 points off Olympia and the Zebras 5 points off them, so 3 points very important. You need to capitalise on your title rivals slipping up. We're here earlier in the year for the match between these two and the Zebras rolled south, so I think there'll be a fired-up bunch today, South Hobart, after a little bit of revenge. They've just lost their way in recent weeks a bit, the Zebras. They started off the season really kind of emerging as the title favourites, but last few weeks they've just slipped up. South Hobart, well, after a sluggish start to the season, just starting to build nicely as they do, and once again looking like they're going to be right in the reckoning. So an important 3 points for grabs today. It should be a cracking battle, two good teams, and a lovely day here at KG5 to bring this one. So the crowd is starting to build quite nicely. It should be a decent attendance today. We watched the players warming up. We've just had the reserves out there for the Zebras, who are pretty impressive for what we saw. So a few of these lads in the senior team who might not have been playing so well in recent weeks might just be keeping a nervous eye on their spot in the side.
And there were some bright performances from the youngsters out there, from the Zebras, which bodes well for them considering they have been rocked by injury in recent weeks. Their form has waned somewhat at the back end of the first round, but a lot of that is being contributed by a rather dreadful run with injury. Of course, Benny Whitehall the first to go, and he's out for the year. And Kurt Engels got suspended, but in the meantime picked up an injury, so he's been out since then. Ethan Engels is back in the starting lineup today, but he's been battling injury over recent weeks. And also Matthias Tolkill's been injured, and but luckily for the Zebras, he's passed the fitness test and he's up for the task today. And then to compound all that, they also had Nathan Cook, who just left the state. So, yeah, it's been a bit of a shocking run for the Zebras. And to be honest, they looked the real deal early with the two opening games in particular. Really emphatic displays against South Hobart, first of all, and against Olympia FC Warriors, their traditional rivals in the second round. Interested to see what they dish up today. We've talked about how they've been hit by injuries. They're probably not at their full capacity in terms of their best starting 11, but it generally doesn't matter when it comes to tussles like this. They'll find a way to battle, and they'll make sure South Hobart have known they've been in a contest when they go toe-to-toe today.
Yeah, I think we could certainly expect both teams are going to be really fired up for this one. As we said, very high stakes today. We've got the team sheets for you now. South Hobart, led of course by manager Ken Morton. Kane Pearce back in goals after just a little sojourn up to the Northern Territory for Kano. Just decided to bugger off on the lads, but he's back in goals now. Liam Quayle, Kobe Kemp, Cam Rogers. Rogers and Kemp will be two very important men in central midfield today. Quayle the fullback. Hugh Ludford, the ever-reliable captain, will play centre-half with Dogger Brown, no doubt, 16 there. Brader Mann in red-hot form, just absolutely put Glenorchy Knights to the sword last week. And the Zebras might just be a little bit worried that they've played him into some red-hot form here at the Knights. He's leading all comers in the goal-scoring charts once again this year. Number 10, Alex Walter, terrific young player. Really plays that number 10 role in behind the striker well. He'll certainly be key to their fortunes today. Number 11, Benny Hamlet, a favourite of the manager, Kenny Morton, waxing lyrical about him a couple of weeks ago in his post-game comments. Loves the work rate he brings. Tenacious player, probably the best way of describing him. He's in there giving his all. Chris the Wrecking Ball Hunt has really stormed into some form, one of the form players of the competition over the past few weeks after a bit of a sluggish start to the year, much like his team, but has his form has picked up, so too has South Hobart's. And then number 14, Matt Lewis, very versatile player, will probably be playing at right back today, you'd imagine. Had to slide in at centre half earlier in the year, but he's back in the full back position today. On the bench, we've got young Hugh Undy just starting to make his way back into the team after injury. We'll probably see half an hour or so from him. He gave a terrific cameo off the bench last week. Number 7, Darcy Hall. Number 8, the favourite of Damo's, cool carb collector Joey Stevens. Number 15, Harrison Thomas. And number 21, Kieran Brown.
Great to see Joey Stevens back in the mix. These big games, you need a cool head on you. You need some composure, and there's no better man to come to than Joey Stevens. Yet again, a nice little shot from Ken Morton there, looking the goods. Our officiating referee today, my favourite, Kim Possible Barker, best in the business. Been ref of the year for about a cajillion years until last year, where he is just shoved aside for a bit, but I think he's having a pretty good season. Ably assisted on both lines by Alistair, the Cookie Monster Cook, and Brenton Copra. So there is 2 assistants, and we are your commentators, Damian Gill and Andrew Cooling. Ash, if we can, I wouldn't mind getting up the Zebras team again. I don't think we had a chance to run through that one. It might have been a technical glitch on our part. Here we go. So this is what the Zebras look like. Some good news as far as they're concerned. There's some names back in there that were maybe touch and go, namely Ethan Engels and Matthias Toggill, both lining up and starting. That's huge for Chris Hay and his Chargers. So we've got Graham Wright starting in goal. The Scotsman, he's been superb since he's crossed over there. Their goal difference is pretty good, largely because they've only conceded 5 goals to date in the league, which is better than anyone by a fair stretch, Drewy. And a lot of it's down to the Scotsman. He's been superb. Jaden Hay, I expect to see him in the heart of defence alongside Tyler Harrison. Both former Knights, both really quality players. Jaden gives them plenty back there in terms of defensive stability, but also a bit of attacking flair out of defence, so a bit going on there. Jordan Muller in midfield, the skipper Henry Fagg also, and then we get on to Dwayne Walsh, who I'd expect to see out in an attacking position, which he's been deployed in defence over recent times, but he's gone back there due to injury, and he's thrived there, in all honesty. So you expect to see him back there. Ethan Engels also, probably on the opposite wing. Matthias Toghill back in defence, as I said. A real tenacious player back there. Loves a good challenge. Just ask Kim Barker, who awarded a penalty against him when it was one of the better challenges I've seen. But no offence, Kim. And Adam McEwen, Sunday McEwen. Chris Hay in the media throughout the week somewhat put a little bit of heat on Sunday, I guess. Just said that his goal scorers needed a lift. They weren't getting enough goals from the team. But he mainly put the heat on the midfield and said they haven't had a midfield goal all year. And they'll be calling for the likes of Warreners, your Fags, and Muller to get involved in the action and threaten goal. It's a bit of a different looking lineup as we get to Grant Malcolm, who will likely start in centre forward in that hold-up role, and Luke Warren, a promising youngster with a bit of pace about him, and he's a quality player. On the bench there's David Cox, Trent Pearce and Nick McDonald, and coached by Chris Hay, who at the moment, I just saw a glance to the right, he was in the stands at the moment, so not sure what's going on there, but he'll be out there when it matters. We look at the table, and Olympia on top of the pops, but South Hobart with a big chance to draw very, very close to them. They get 3 points today. They're just 1 point off the leader after Olympia FC Warriors with a bit of a slip-up on the road against Northern Rangers. A bit of a bogey team of theirs, and certainly proved that case yesterday. Rangers were very undermanned. They were missing a lot of their key players, but a good fighting performance to take home a point, and that sees South Hobart with an opportunity to draw very, very close to the top of the table.
Yeah, undermanned, but perhaps did have a 12th man off the field. Maybe the Rangers Army, the crowd were a little bit buoyed up by some comments made in the media midweek. Maybe they just fired the boys up to deliver that result. A bit of a shock. Olympia had been travelling very nicely, but a good chance for these two teams to cut that gap at the top of the table today. It was a cracking game the two played way back in the first round of the season when they met. Real end-to-end contest. Some great skill on display that day. If we get a game of similar quality today, I think we'll be very happy. So it was a cracking contest we saw that day. And South Hobart will undoubtedly be keen to avenge that. So not too far away from the start here. Referee Kim Barker just ordering the players over now. So they're about to be let out, ready for this contest here at the home of football, KG5. Glorious day here. Clear skies, sun-bathed ground. Really could not have asked for better conditions for this. Really looking forward to this one. So, Damian, your tip today for this one?
Yeah, good timing, Drewy. My tip. Geez, I haven't even really given it much of a thought. Just sort of engrossing myself in what the contest could bring. You know, we've seen plenty of drama. We've seen some classics between these two sides over the journey, but in terms of result, I can't look past South Hobart. With the slip-up from Olympia, they will be even more energised to go out there and get a result. I think Zebra's outs at this time a bit too significant. We see Ethan Engels and Matisse Tokyo go back in the starting lineup, but I'm sceptical just how fit those two players are. I think there's still niggles plaguing them. And if you're taking in, 80% or 70% fit players up against a fully charged, ready to go South Hobart lineup, it's tough to see you coming out with 3 points. So I'd have to say South Hobart, 3-1.
Yeah, I'm going with South too. I just feel like they're building into this season nicely. They haven't been perhaps at their brilliant best this year, but after a couple of struggles early in the season, they're starting to look back to their daunting best, and they're starting to get a few players back too. They're starting to look a settled team, and I can't look past them here today. I'm going to go 2-1. I think they'll just pip them. I think the Zebras will be up for the fight. They always are when they play South. There's no such thing as an easy game between these two teams. I'd expect a bit of bite in this contest, maybe some niggle out there. They're two teams that don't particularly like each other, I think it's fair to say. And I think South will just pip them, but they're going to have to work for it. Of course, this Zebras team will give as good as they will get. And as you've touched on, just after being rocked by injury, starting to get a couple of players back in their 11 they've been missing, but I think while they're still missing Kurt Engels, I think they are vulnerable today. I think he's a big out for them. They need him back if they are going to be up there challenging for the title, and I can't look past South Hobart today.
Looking again at that starting 11 for Zebras, I wonder whether Dwayne Walsh will be deployed in defence or attack. It's an interesting one. It's either him or Warrener that probably goes back into defensive position. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. We'll watch with interest as we get close to the kick-off as teams shake hands and make their way through. There's some Zebras SAP kids involved in the excitement. A decent crowd building, maybe a bit lean for what it should be between these two massive clubs, but if you are joining us out there on the World Wide Web, chuck us a tweet at FootballFedTaz. Get involved, comment on the blog, let us know what you're thinking. We always like to take a bit of feedback on the coverage we provide, and also we just love a joke. So if you've got a terrible pun, a woeful lookalike, throw them in, and we'll be more than happy to give you 5 seconds of fame as Kim Possible Barker brings the captains together. South Hobart in orange today, their away kit, and Zebras in their home black and white stripes. Interesting, Kane Pearce in a red. Very close, I think, to the orange. Not exactly sure about that one, but we'll see how it goes for him. As they come back, it looks like Zebras are going to be going towards the far end. South Hobart firing towards the Grove Road end, the KG5 football house end. It looks like Zebras are likely to have kick-off here. Grant Malcolm at centre forward. We watch this one. Looks like interesting. So McEwen out wide on the right, Warrener on the left, Malcolm and Engels in the middle. It'll be interesting to see who's playing that number 10 role, because we can see Muller and Fag in midfield. The back four of Walsh, Jaden Hay, Tyler Harrison and Matthias Toghill. So Walsh back in defensive areas definitely gives them a lot from an attacking sense. And we have kickoff. As Fag just pokes it out wide, gives it to Warriner. Then to Toghill. Feeds Harrison. The youngster gets it moving, looking for Warriner. He does well to keep it in. Comes to Toghill. Propels forward. Brought down by Engels. He races away. Got a couple for company. The skipper of South Hobart, Hugh Ludford, up on him. He plays it back for Fag. Rattles off a fairly tame cross. Seen clear by Brown. Headed down by Hamlet. Down for Mann. He lets Hamlet run with it. It's Hamlet against the Zebras defence here. He tries to slip in for Hunt, but it's too quick for him, and Walsh watches it into the hands of Graham Wright.
So Muller down the right-hand side now for Zebras. So they look to go forward here for the first time today. Some good pressure here. McEwen looking to get in behind Quayle for company and sees it out of play. The key battle today, no doubt. McEwen up against Quayle. So Dwayne Walsh, as we said, back in defence this week. Not really where I like to see him. I think he's more effective as an attacking player, but maybe due to injuries, being forced to plug him back there today is a speculative effort there. Is kind of directed Pearce's way, but that's never going to trouble him. And he'll reset now for Souths. And he's just keen to launch it long towards the head of Mann. Jaden Hay there for company. He plays it back to the Scotsman. And he'll take his time, assess the options. Hay goes to Muller. Falls back, some good pressure from South, pressing them and forces a rather haphazard clearance there from Wright. Just hacks it out, didn't get much distance on it, so some good pressure from South's paying off there. A good pressing side. Very drilled by Morton. Quay with the throat. And goes looking for the wrecking ball Hunt. And he's got the better here of Walsh, but seen out of play for a goal kick. Right will again play short. There's to Hay. He dances inside there of Mann to Walsh. Hunt pressuring him and forced a rather rushed pass forward, and he'll go all the way through to Pearce here for South. As to Dogger Brown. Both teams just looking to play out from the back early. Two good passing sides. Saw a lot of long ball in the game we covered yesterday. I think we might see a bit more short interplay between these two sides today, as Mann did well to keep it in but had no one in support. So the Zebras will again reload, and that was a fortuitous clearance that's gone straight to Tyler Harrison. He'll switch it out to Toghill, goes back in turn to Harrison. He'll hoof it forward where Lewis is there to cut it out. Muller wins the header. He's going to just ping-ponging around in midfield. Malcolm goes for it, couldn't get it. Mann flicked it on nicely to Hans. He goes for a bicycle to no one, but it looked good. Now here's a chance for Alex Walter, who directs a shot from range, but it's well off target.
4 minutes gone here at KG5 Football Park as we have another look at that speculative long strike from Walter. Connected with it well, but flew wide to the right. Right over this one. Wax long and strong and beyond halfway. Off the back of Malcolm. He's collected by Dogger Brown, and it'll be a free kick for the Zebras. Harrison on the ball. Plays it long, looking for McEwen. It spills out, comes to Warriner. He tries to get a ball back, looking for Malcolm. It's taken away. Walter on the ball. Finds Hamlet. In the process, I think it was a handball, and it'll be a free kick for South Hobart. And take their time to build. So it looks like Grant Malcolm in that number 10 role, which is not something he's foreign to back in his playing days at Clarence. He was operated in midfield quite a bit there, but I'm not sure his mobility's at a stage where that's his preferred position. I think you know, he's a big, strong target man. But it'll be interesting to see what he can give Zebras in there today. As Dogger Brown plays back for Pearce, who finds Ludford. Driven long off the head of Tog Hill and out for a throw-in. Tog Hill marking Ben Hamlet today, of course, former teammates at Clarence, know each other very, very well, so there'd be plenty in that one. As Ludford comes out of defence, looks to find Liam Quayle, who's offering an outlet long down the left side. Rogers comes across and sees out Dwayne Walsh, who's looking to try and nip down this right flank. Throw in now. Finds McEwen. He can't control, and it's out for a South Hobart throw.
So a bit of a cagey opening here at KG5. Both teams just feeling each other out here. Let's get the pace of it. It's a fierce battle in midfield. There's some nice play there. Doing it well was Cam Rogers, but couldn't find anyone up top. Hack forward again. McEwen goes up against Quayle, who does well to win the header. Belying his height there as Malcolm plays it straight to Matthew Lewis, intercepting. Goes into Rogers. Ludford now to Hunt. No one runs for him, so he goes back to Rogers, who's pressured. Good tracking back there from McEwen, but it might fall for South. Braden Mann just give it a little whack there, and he'll get a free kick for his troubles. Just a little bit of niggle out there between these two teams early. Nothing too malicious. Free kick be taken by Rogers. He's been pretty good early. He took it back to Brown. Now we're going more direct launch in at the back post. Brown was just sneaking up there, couldn't get there. So it's going to be right, the Scotsman. Some
interaction over Twitter. Callum Patch, first an apology. I was monitoring Football Fed Taz, not Damian P. Gill. Feel free to tweet to either of them. Watching South Hobart versus Hobart Zebras at home with the crew. Would love a shout out for Barry Pound, Sniff, Kate and Betsy. There you go, mate. There's your shout out. Hickey tipping a Hamlet first goal. So there you go, Ben Hammertime Hamlet. First goal today. And there is absolutely no truth to the rumour that Slice of Cheese is looking to merge with only the keeper to beat. Not even sure what it is. So Tokyo on the ball now. Whips in over the head of Grant Malcolm. Spills out for McEwen. He feeds back. Walsh on it. Connects with it rather well, but it's over the top of Lewis and Warrener and out for a goal kick.
Yeah, good to hear from Paskey back there, sitting at home. Favourite of ours, of course, here. Hopefully his golden tonsils will be joining us for a match someday soon while he recovers from his injury. All the best there to Paskey. Meanwhile, Huey Ludford on the ball for Souths. No real clear-cut chances early in this one. As I said, a bit of a cagey opening. High stakes, so not too surprising that either team are over-committing forward at this stage. Well-drilled sides. It's Hoof Ford and Tog Hill. Got Hamlet for company out there. Two former Clarence boys duelling, and Hamlet will be happy with that. He wins the ball for his side. We'll take the throw in with South Hobart. He gets it moving quickly into Alex Walter. Lewis is getting forward there, but it's offside against Alex Walter. So Wright will take this one for Souths.
I think Hamlet and Toggill is just about my matchup of the day. There could be so much fireworks between those two, it's not funny. I think Toghill would be pretty comfortable because he knows it, Hamlet's game, but Hamlet definitely a tough one to stop when he's on song, and geez, he doesn't shirk the issue in a challenge as it comes along from the South Hobart defence. Cut off by Fag. He pumps this one long. It's a good ball that picks out McEwen. Gets a shot off. Pearce saves. And it's lucky Pearce saves because it looked like it might be finding angles at back post. Lovely bit of work there from Kane Pearce in goal. And almost something from nothing for the Zebras. Good ball picked out from Henry Fag. We'll watch this one again. He saw it long and strong and he played it over the head of Quayle. Came to McEwen, who desperately tried to get off for a shot or a pass. Looked like it was going to find angles at back stick. Pierce does well, plucks it out. Walsh down the line, throws, finds Sunday. McEwen picks out Fag, slips it back through for McEwen. And you can only say that's a shocker. I think he was looking to maybe whip in across or power a shot. In the end, it's neither, and it's well wide and out into the cricket nets. That's how bad it was.
It's good positive signs in attack here, though, from the Zebras. They've started brightly. First clear-cut chance of the game. It was a strong save by Pierce at full stretch. He'll be happy with that one. He gets the ball moving here for South as he tried to find Lewis, and he won't be so happy with that one. He's just belted it straight out of play. The Zebras will take over here with Gill. He'll go back to Tyler Harrison. Key man at the heart of the Zebras defence. He just launches that one along, gives Quayle something to think about, but he'll head it clear. Dwayne Walsh looking to overlap. Quayle just getting a boot on it. The crowd really starting to build now here at KG5. The stand starting to fill up for this big clash. It's Walsh with the throw. McEwen does well. He's under control, but Quayle dispossesses him well. Well played by the fullback. They'll switch it across now to Toghill. Play by Fag in midfield, and some good defensive pressure coming from Hamlet there. It's a hallmark of the South game. All their attackers constantly looking to close them down, and right, we'll hack that one clear as Mann gave him some pressure there as Hunt controls it. Poor ball from Ludford, but they'll get a second chance. Dogger Brown goes all the way back to Pierce, who then just tamely knocks one back to him. He's got plenty of time though. He strokes it down. That's a lovely pass there from Cam Rogers. And here comes Hunt cutting inside, a surge of pace. They've got runners out left if they can get it to him. Lewis getting forward. Doing well to track back there was Warrener. Cut that out. Won that battle with Lewis. And both teams really working hard both ways. Both attacking sets of players to these sides, and has contributed to a rather scrappy sort of opening with both defences on top so far.
Definitely the case there. Hamlet did well as Dogger Brown with what can only be described as a pretty fearsome shove. We'll watch this one again. Very unnecessary. It's come through Wrangles and he's just whack. Shoved him clean to the turf, and it's a slice of cheese, I think it was, for Dogger Brown. Brown into the book. Geez, the amount of times that's said. Loves a piece of cheddar. It's driven long from Tyler. Good, Tyler Harrison, good connection on it. Off the head of Quayle, and Hunt looks to keep it in. Can't quite beat the line. And it's out for a Zebra's throw as they look to get down this right-hand side. But, yeah, very, very cagey start. Both teams working hard both ways. Early doors in this one. Throwing down the line from Walsh to McEwen. Comes across from Malcolm. He looks to play a direct ball into the box. No one home. It's headed away by Brown. Back in through Malcolm. Brown gets a little bit on it, but it's still there for the Zebras if they can capitalise. A high foot from Malcolm screeches that one to a halt. It's a South Hobart ball. It's just played quickly from Rogers to Quayle. Mann a long way from home. Looks inside for Hamlet. Hamlet does well, picks it up. Looks to deliver out on the left. It's cut off by Hay. Expertly picks out McEwen. Sharked off his boot and seen clear by Cam Rogers. This game is 14 minutes old. As Walsh throws down the line, back from McEwen to Hay. He looks to switch it up to Toghill out on the left-hand side. Lewis looks to have cut it off, but can't get enough on it to see clear from Toghill. Sends it the other way, picked up from McEwen. He looks to slip in a cheeky little ball. It's cut off by Ludford and back through Quayle, inside to Rogers. Back now to Hunt. He's got McEwen tracking. Hunt does well, puts it over the top, looking for Hamlet. He hustles and bustles, but Toghill first to it. Can only pick out Kemp, who's been quiet early days. It's Hamlet that picks it up and just rails off across into the centre. Only Zebra's home. They give it straight back to South Hobart. There's some scrappy stuff here, Andrew Cooling. Neither team able to hold on to possession for too long. It's with Lewis now. What can he do on that right-hand side? cut off with a slide tackle from Toghill, and say a foul against the Zebras number 13, and it will be a free kick on the right-hand side.
Tight opening between those two teams, looking pretty evenly matched. South will probably move the ball around a little bit better, but Zebs perhaps playing a slightly more direct game. But neither team really getting a strong foothold in this game yet. Very evenly matched. Wouldn't be surprised if either team were able to grab a winner, and they might be able to get a breakaway here. It was well cut out. They're looking dangerous with the Zebs. This one will go through to Pearce, and he'll pick it up and just feed it in there. Cuts it back to Quayle. Play from Kemp there. Here's Quayle. He's been busy early, looks to find man, and that's just safety first there from Hay. He just escorts that one out.
They've lost the ball there. He sent that over the next door. I reckon the right wheeler's got that.
Every chance. We may not see that again, or someone might have just nicked off with it. Anyway, the direct throw looking to find Hamlet. It's again just safety first from Zebs, just dealing with it. They're looking disciplined, as we touched on pre-game. They've only conceded 5 times this year. They are a very tough team to break down, the Zebs. And they are looking at so far in this one as Quayle throws it in, looking for the head of Hamlet, but that's just headed away by Hay, but an infringement picked up by Kimmy Barker on the edge of the area, and he'll give a free kick. He's been on top of everything here, Barker, early on. I think he knows there's a chance for a bit of nastiness between these two teams, so he's setting the tone, setting the standard very early in this one. You're not going to get away with anything. So Hunt and Walter, conference over the ball. It looks like Walter's going to be the one to take it. He dicks it in near post. It's headed clear, only as far as Hunt. Good pass there from Rogers. Picks out Walter, and then again, safety first and cleared across there by Hay.
The defence you touched on a little bit, Drew. So 5 goals conceded this year, and only 3 of them from general play. There's been 2 penalties amongst it, so yeah, really solid. As it comes to the edge of the box, Rogers scoops it over the top to the back post. Seen clear by Muller. Back through Kemp. There's a foul on the edge of the area against Hamlet. Bit of a let-off for the Zebras. Pumped long from right. He's got a big heaving boot on him. In the end, Lewis comes across to see it clear for Warrener. So we watch this one again. Might have even been... Yeah, Hamlet comes into frame in a second. Yeah, just deals with Fag. So that was the foul. 18 minutes gone. Big ball in from Toghill. Met with a head from McEwen and saved on the line. Does Pearce. Comes to Hunt. He races at him. Cuts inside. Rolls it along. Comes to Kemp. He tries to pick out Hamlet with a long ball, and it's cut off well by Toghill, who you got to say has been pretty solid on Hamlet early days. Hay with a bit to say on the sidelines. And it's Zebra's ball. Hay, we can hear him down on the sidelines calling for his defence to just organise things a little bit. I've seen Jaden Hayes being quite vocal out there, a real leader in this new Zebras lineup. Comes to Harrison. Scoops it along. Direct game from Zebras. Gifts the ball to Kemp. Plays for Lewis. Lewis goes long and strong. It's a good knock, but it can't quite pick out man. Not because it wasn't a bad ball, but because Wright was wise to the situation. Played left now. It's with Hunt. He whips a good ball to the back post. Toghill sees it out for another corner. South Hobart threatening here at KG5.
Yeah, just starting to get on top in the last few minutes, Souths. It's the danger with Zebras the way they're setting out here today. They're inviting Souths to come at them. So far they've dealt with everything that's been thrown at them pretty well though. Looking very organised down back as per usual. Always playing with danger though if you sit too deep against South Hobart, but you'd have to say looking to hit them on the counter, playing a very direct game, looking to absorb this pressure. And I guess if there is one criticism of times at South, they do commit men forward perhaps a bit too much at midfield 3. Walter, Kemp, Rogers, pretty attacking midfield three, you'd have to say. So let's see what the plan is as Hunt looks to whip in the corner, puts into the danger area, and it's fumbles by Wright, and it was bundled home, but Kim Barker adjudged a foul against Braden Mans. We have a look at the replay here. He's jumped in. Yeah, well, goalkeepers do get that element of protection, don't they? Whether it would be a foul anywhere else on the park, I'm not sure, but in the goal square, you're going to see that given most times.
I will say that's more of a foul than the one that was rewarded yesterday at Lightwood Park. It was an absolute shocker. Anyway, Hamlet on the ball, plays centrally, finds Mann, who just nips about, plays back for Rogers. He tries to just pick out a pass for Hamlet, overshoots it, and Wright collects. So Zebras under siege somewhat in the last few minutes, but holding tight. It's pumped long from Wright off the chest of McEwen. Brown gets a bit on it. It's in congestion now, but Muller takes it away. Gets it to Ingles. He flicks on, and again, it's Brown who comes into him, and it's a foul against him. May just need to watch himself a little bit, Dogger Brown. Already a cheese against his name, and loves a challenge more than just about anyone. And up against a slight-framed Ethan Engels. He throws a few challenges around. He might see another slice as it's come long, and Dogger Brown rises high, nods down. It's picked up by Hamlet, drops it off for Hunt, who's just run where he's pleased today. He picks this one up, wraps his boot around it, trying to pick out Mann and switch things up, but it's cut off well by Walsh. He finds Tog Hill, drops it off for Harrison, along for Warrener. Looks to control in the air, and it's a high boot against him, and a free kick for South Hobart. Lewis over it. Still 0-0 here at KG5 Football Park. Kemp on the ball. Strolls along, looking for Hamlet. Seen away by Tola Harrison. There's a long ball propelled forward by Matt Lewis, and it's offside against Braden Mann. There's a bit to say to the Cookie Monster, Alistair Cook, but Braden Mann, is, if you asked him, has probably never been offside. As most strikers are, they're never off. So we'll back in Big Cook, the big Cookie Monster. As Graham Wright delivers long. McEwen flicks it on with a header, and maybe a bit of contact coming after it. Pearce comes to retrieve on his byline. Muller heads down. Barker just draws a whistle. There must be some claret coming from the head of McEwen. It's big Gaz Pitchford strolls along. We'll have a look at McEwen. Barker was quick to blow the whistle, so there must be some claret coming from the dome. Pitchy has a good look. It'll be a drop ball, and then I think it'll go back to the Zebras. Interesting, because it was a Zebras ball before. Anyway, play goes on as it comes to Hay. He goes to Harrison. Pumps long and strong, looking for Ethan Engels, asking a bit of him up against a big-bodied Dan Brown. It's in congestion, and Fag tumbles. Oh, but Walter doesn't. Looks to race away with it. And Tog Hill gets a boot in and chops him down. It'll be a free kick for South Hobart.
Yeah, some skillful play there from Walter. He had his man completely beat there, just taken down. It's a very good play. So South to go here. I thought it was professional. Very lucky not to be a yellow card, really. Thought might have got one. Professional foul. Anyway, Quayle. It's well done there. And Zebras turn it over. Here's McEwen. What can he do? He'll lift it forward looking for the runner Walsh, but Ludford's got that covered, and he'll go all the way back to Pearce. Moves it long. That was a poor ball, really. Cut out by Malcolm. It's knocked around the centre of the park. Brown was committing, but it was flicked over his head. And now an opening perhaps for Zebras, but it was a poor ball. It went straight through, and it'll be gathered by Pearce. He'll get out to Brown, who's certainly walking the disciplinary tightrope now. A yellow card and a couple of fouls since then. Shifted out. That's a good ball Brings Quayle into it. Man calling for it short, but he cuts inside and looks for the run of Hunt, but well cut out again. Looking very organised in defence. Oh, there's some good hustle from Rogers. He's been good early on. He cuts, crosses into the area, couldn't find someone. Lewis charging forward again, but getting the better of him was Warner. Lewis and Walter fighting on and just put out a play in the end by Warner. South Hobart throw. Zebras looking very, very solid in defence early on. The Souths have had plenty of the ball in their attacking third, but they're yet to really craft a chance of note. It's been a very disciplined display from Zebras. I think they'll be the happier of the two teams so far. They've set out their stall to defend compactly, hit them on the counter, and so far doing a pretty good job of that. So right, just directing a bit of traffic. Yeah, he'll launch this one along. Looking for the head of Malcolm. Perhaps why he's playing in the hole today. Big body there so they can thump it long towards him. Gill plays a ball, looking to flick it on there with Engels. Couldn't quite. Good pass from Rogers. Finds Hunt in space, but he looks up, hasn't got a lot to go to. Shifts it wide to Man. He cuts back inside. Here's Alex Walter. What can he do? He plays it in to Rogers. Back to Hunts. They're patiently trying to find a way through, but Muller was there to cut it out. And again, it's very solid at the back. The Zebras looking very organised. Souths able to dissect them so far. Lewis getting forward. He's had a few dangerous balls into the area. This time he looks to unlock Hamlet, who puts a cross in. Man near post. And he flicked it over the top. Some good build up there. Lewis and Hamlet down the right hand side. They put the cross in. And the dangerous Man was making a near post run, but just flicked it over the top. First real clear cut chance of the game for South. They haven't really created too much so far in this game, but always a threat is Man, and we see him there making those darting runs at the near post. He scored many a goal like that. The Zebras go forward. And here is Engels, who's turned nicely, and he looks to set McEwen away, and he's drawn the foul, so it'll be a free to Zebras in the middle of the park.
It was a good chance for Broden Man. He doesn't miss too many, but he did well to find himself just weaseled in at that near post, didn't he? And he almost helped it on its way. Hay over the ball now, plays short for Harrison in the bullseye. Guides it on its way for Toghill, bobbles up on him, plays it long, looking for Malcolm, seen away from Brown. Some nice interplay, sees Hamlet find it out for Rogers, looks inboard. Fancy footwork and then propels one. Cut off by Hay with a head. Picked up by Walter, but he can't get running as Muller gets involved. And Zebras again with that direct game that's been pretty commonplace in this first half. McEwen comes across after Malcolm batted well in the engine room. It's picked up from Walsh. He gets running, gives to McEwen. He looks inside. Walsh just kept running down the right-hand side. It's cut off by Ludford. Muller cuts it off. It looked like it was meant for Man. Picked up by Fag with a long direct ball from the bullseye. Cut off again by Ludford. Hustle and bustle for the ball as Hay comes across to see it over ahead of Man. Good challenge there between two very good quality players. I've liked Hay's game so far. Commanding that defence. It was thrown back from Quayle for Ludford. Back with the Ulverston native in Quayle, who finds his goalkeeper in Pearce. Lewis controls it, but no allies around him, apart from Hamlet, who hustles and bustles and steals from Warner. He's got a couple of Zebras ahead of him, namely Toghill, gets involved, comes to Lewis, feeds it back out wide for Hamlet. He's got Warner keeping him company, and Warner does well, sees it out for a corner.
Hamlet just starting to grow into this game, starting to have an increasing influence down this right-hand side. He's won a corner for his side here. It's a good battle down that side between him and Toghill, and Warner, as is expected of Zebras players, getting back to help out as Hunt plays a ball that's going to lob into the area. Brilliant touch from Man to control it, but he couldn't find anyone. Hay again there to cut it out, and battling hard was Man, but it's outlast off him and spills behind for a goal kick. Touching on it, Hay has been just outstanding at the back so far in this one. He and Harrison have been very strong pairing at the heart of the defence, repelling just about everything that South have thrown at them. Hay in particular. Don't think he's lost a ball in the air all day. So Wright shifts it out to the left, looking for Toghill. Set him a task, and he did well. Want it back to Harrison, who, don't know if he meant it, but he found Toghill with some nice footwork. Battle in midfield is well won by Kemp. Now South's building forward. Direct ball looking for Mann, who just misjudged it a little bit. And it's Walsh who hacks it out off Hunt for a throw in. So very, very tight game here at KG5. The Zebras really doing a good job of shutting down the South's ball players. Ludford wins the header to Walter. There's Kemp, plays it back to Brown. He shifts it out to the left. There's Hamlet against Toghill. His pass was a pretty poor one for Kemp. Sold him a little bit short. And Zebras will get the throw. They're quite happy to cede possession to Souths when they're back, but as soon as they get to the attacking third, they're all over them like a cheap suit. So the throw in here for Souths. Here's Hamlet. He's been busy in this one. Plays it into Kemp. What can he do? He just cuts inside and look to play in Hamlet. But again, the back four of Zebras just will not yield. Toghill gets a second bite at it and then plays it for Fag. They link up. Here's Walsh, who's bobbed up now on the left-hand side. So not sure if there's been a positional change. No, he was just on the other side. He's running across now to this wing to get back into position. Walter plays it back, and South will reload from the back.
Man running with a bit of a hobble. He's been doing it for a little bit now, so we'll keep an eye on that one. He looks a little concerned about it. Brown on the ball. Plays through, finds Hamlet. He controls and dishes back. Toghill closed him down. Back they go now. Picked up by Pearce. He lays off for Ludford. Back in board to Kemp. And away they go through Brown as Engels comes across looking to close it down. They find Walter. He uses it quickly. Finds Hamlet. Nice first touch. Slips in for Lewis, who's kept running from full back. He picks this one up. Fires into the bottom left! Matt Lewis! Oh my lord, not known for a goal, but what a finish from the fullback. And they get around him, and rightfully so. A beautiful run down the right-hand side. You've got to say, expertly slipped in by Hamlet. He picked it up and hammered it home across goal and into the bottom left. South Hobart lead here into the 34th minute. A beautiful piece of work by Matt Lewis.
So you wanted to do a double take there. Was that Matt Lewis or Braden Mann? That was a clinical finish in the box from the fullback. He's been good so far in this one, Lewis. He's been getting forward. He and Hamlet have given him some real worries down that right-hand side, and he just got the better of Tyler Harrison there. He beat him, jinked around him, and hammered that one to the bottom corner. Clinical finish from Lewis. He's been good. And Hamlet laying the assist there. And they've had some success down that right-hand side. And it's brought about the first goal in the game. And will that change things? Zebras might not be able to sit back quite as deep anymore. They've been inviting the pressure. That was fine while they were dealing with it. But Lewis has got the better of Harrison and put them 1-0 up. So very nicely done. Zebras leading. Hunt battling hard here with Muller, who's been good. What a duel this is. And Muller takes the points. Wins it back to Harrison. There's some good hustle there. So looking to flick on his man, and Hayes now been beaten, but covering for him was Harrison. A few half-hearted shouts of handball, but that would have been a very generous penalty. Oh, reading that was Quayle. Nipped in, and now he plays in the ball, but rising high was Harrison. He's atoned well for being beaten by Lewis with a couple of stops there in the last 30 seconds. That one's hack clear up to Engels. Lays it off, but that was a poor layoff. South got the momentum. They're playing with some confidence now. Here's Kemp. He set a real task for Hunt, and he said, I'm not even going to bother. There's no way I'm getting to that. Give me a better service than that, Kobe, please. So, goal kick for Zebras. After a fairly bright opening, haven't looked like scoring since the first 10 minutes. The Zebs have been dealing pretty well with this long ball stuff. Hunt's has won a foul against Walsh, who looks somewhat shocked, and I've got to say, it did seem a generous one. A wry grin from Hunt. He knows he perhaps got a bit fortunate with that free kick. It seemed like a bit of a contest with the ball, but anyway, play on. Here's Hunt, lays it back for Ludford. And you've got to say, Ludford and Brown have scarcely been troubled in the last 10 or 20 minutes here. And Liam Scott, a well-known name to viewers in the footballing community, has just suggested Matty Lewis might have a career up top through Twitter. And I tell you what, as I said, that was a finish man would be happy with. Absolutely belted that one to the corner, so not a bad shout. Get him on the right wing, perhaps. He's up top, he's surging forward again here. He might need to track back as Zebras get the ball. Here's Muller. Lays it back to Walsh. Walsh with a pass that was rather broadcast to McEwen. He did well to win it for his team, and now it's going to fall for Engels. He's got a pretty slight frame for a man who's been asked to play a hold-up centre-forward role today. I'm not really sure it's working. Maybe Malcolm might be better off switching positions, because at the moment he's having to do quite a bit of physical work against the like of Ludford and Brown, which is a pretty tough ask for him.
Got a text in from one of our favourites, Corn Dog, and he said sending it back to the Killer Tomatoes days, which I believe was a futsal team that Matt Lewis was a major part of. Oh, his man comes in and collects Walsh. Oh, I'd like to see a replay of that. Man, pretty contrite straight away. I don't think he knew much about it. There was no malice in the effort. We'll have to see that one again. He came in and absolutely collected Walsh. Walsh in a bit of trouble. We'll watch it again on the replay. Walsh racing away. Man comes in, looks to brace to stop. Braces and collects Walsh. Tried to turn away and protect, and shown a slice of cheese. And cheese probably fair at the end of the day, given that he braced for contact and there was no real malice in the incident. Yeah. So man into the book. Man into the book. Walsh still down for the count. An important cog in the Zebras team. Walsh, yeah, in a bit of trouble here, Drewster. This might be game over for him. As he comes off, the wind well and truly taken out of his sails. Man was quick to come over and let it known that there was no malice in the incident. He tried to brace for the contact, and the replays certainly show that. He did his best to try and prevent there being major injury in the incident. But it's one of those things, isn't it, when two players are going hard for a ball?
Yeah, I think the right decision's been made there. I think probably on first look there was a pretty nasty thudding noise and looked a fierce contest, but certainly well done to Kim Barker. He's made the right decision. The replay's shown. You can see his feet there. He's tried to kind of halt his momentum and probably avoided as much contact as he could. So a yellow card, probably a fair decision. Certainly a physical game between the two very strong players. And hopefully Walsh is all right. He's getting some attention on the sideline in front of us at the moment. He looks to be all right. And we hope he'll be back out there soon, as the Zebra is looking to press forward here. This man flicks on. Here's Rogers. He brings it under control and then plays an inch-perfect pass for Man. He's in behind. He's got Hay for company, and his touch was just a bit heavy. Well recovered there from Hay. Some good defence there. I thought Man had him there for a second. Recovered well. His touch just a bit heavy there, Man. And it spills out behind. It was a beautiful ball from Cam Rogers. And that's just dribbled over the line in the end. So Harrison launching forward now for McEwen, and getting in his back was Quayle, and he's got no complaint there. That's a pretty clear foul. Right in his back as we see Walsh getting back out on the pitch, which is good to see. He still looks a little bit groggy, I've got to say, but we hope he's all right. It was a tough knock. And Gill gives him the high five as he runs across there. Yeah, still doesn't look 100% right. We've got about 5 minutes till half time, so I think they'll just try and see him through to the half time and then reassess perhaps. We hope he's all right. He's played a pretty good game so far, it has to be said. As we've got Paskey calling for red on Twitter. As we said, in live play, he certainly looks like it could well have been a red. For me, I think a yellow's fair enough, but any time the elbow collects the face, you can certainly have some nervous moments. As we've got some more texts in here, I'll let you, Damian, talk through this one.
It's just the corn dog taking an AFL approach. He doesn't think man will need to go to the tribunal, but he thinks maybe it's 3 weeks down to 2. Unintentional, but high contact. There was a massive thud. You could actually hear it. So we might have a closer look at it at half time, but on first review, it didn't look like it in terms of a red. It's reverse. Interesting. South Hobart to throw in. Quayle down for Kemp. He controls, finds Rogers. He's with Fag. They come together in a bit of a sandwich. In the end, South Hobart come off best as they've got to throw in. Yeah, we see that one. It was blatantly off Walsh. There was both teams contesting for it. And then Barker was the situation. Plenty in this contest in terms of fire between the two teams. And Hay with plenty to say on the sidelines. Walsh down the line, looking for McEwen. He controls. He's got a couple around him in Quayle, and Hunt somehow wins out, does well on the deck. He's, in the end, smothered off it by Rogers. Comes through, clatters in with a sliding tackle from Quayle. It ends up with Kemp and then to Hunt. He collides with Fag, who comes in hard. Finds its way to McEwen. Muller sends a line to Fag. Fag gets his boot out to it. And Quayle's gone in for it, and I'm not sure that's a foul against Fag that's been ruled, but I reckon he's pretty stiff there. He won the ball. Quayle went in what looked like head first. It was a bit reckless from his end, if you ask me. I wouldn't mind seeing a replay of that. But play goes on as Hamlet's on it. Picks it up, looks inside, plays out on the left, picks out Hunt, whips it over the top. It's cut off by Hay, but almost falls for man who tries an acrobatic effort. As we see this incident again, we might just be out of camera, we'll see. It was sent through. He won the ball, and then Quayle came through and pretty much clattered into him. I think Fag rightfully feels a bit stiff there because he's got the ball and he's won it at an appropriate height, and Quayle's come through and more or less taken out his leg. Anyway, a throw in here for Walsh. Quayle looks to clear from defence. A bit of a sloppy effort. And Zebras will have another throw in. I think we have more Twitter engagement. You can poke a stick out. We'll have a look here. A couple of notifications on at Football Fed Tassie. If you are listening, get on board. Has Walsh had the right sort of concussion testing? Wasn't off for long. Looked a sickening hit. Not a bad point, Callum Pask. I'd be, I'd imagine they've done the right due diligence on that one. As Kemp and McEwen collide for it. McEwen stretches out a leg. Filthy with the decision. Absolutely livid with the fact that Kim Barker waved it South Hobart's way. Tell you what, there's plenty of angst out there, Andrew Cooling.
There is. I don't think you have too many fights there. He might have nicked the ball. It was a tough one, but it's a very physical contest. We did say there might be a bit in it pre-game, and these two teams really getting fired up. And Barker doing a reasonable job of staying on top of things and not allowing them to come to a boiling point after the Walsh and Man coming together. We could have seen some other explosive stuff out there, but so far keeping it under control as Man just plays it straight out of play. Approaching half time here, we're about to tick into added time in the first half. 1-0 to South Hobart. We've probably had the better of it. The Zebras fighting back now, but haven't created a heap. And that's a slightly misplaced pass from Rogers, and to be fair to Rogers, I think that's probably the first time he's misplaced a pass all half. He's been outstanding. Standout player on the pitch for mine, Cam Rogers. He's been really influential. He and Hamlet have been probably the best, and some wily, experienced play there from Ludford. Felt the elbow on the shoulder and went down. That is just pure experience there from Ludford. Knew exactly what he was doing and draws the free kick as Pearce lofts one forward but just floats over the head of Hunt. So I think South's passing's just gone off in the last couple of minutes, perhaps just looking for half time. They'll be happy with the 1-0 lead. And McEwen fighting hard there and wins the throw in for his side. Quayle somewhat cheekily tries to claim it's theirs. I'm not sure how he thought that was going to work, but anyway, Walsh throws it in. Getting a boot in was Hunt. Spills in, lovely ball to McEwen. Great chance here, and Pearce again was good. He stood tall. He just outfoxed McEwen. He thought he's going to go over the top. He read him well there, Pearce. McEwen might have been better served going either side. Just outfoxed him. And Pearce, who's not had a lot to do in this half, he's had 2 moments where he's been called into action, and he's been outstanding on both occasions, Kane Pearce. It's always a worry when you're a goalie in a game where you're not seeing a lot of the action, and then something like that happens. Twice they've had chances, Zebras, and twice McEwen has been denied by Pearce. So credit to Kane Pearce, playing a good game back there. Flicked on. Lewis again, look at him, his goal-breeding confidence. He's just nipping forward. In the box there was Luo. He's keen. He's hungry for more, I dare say. We've got a few seconds here before half-time, I reckon. The whistle will surely go any second, so this will be the last attack of the half, you'd think. And Lewis has just lost the hold of that one, so you throw it now. The referee can't be too far away from bringing an end to what's been a pretty entertaining first 45 here at KG5. And there'll be a goal kick to the Zebras here. As Barker has a quick look at his watch. Right, about to launch it. I think the Zebras have shown a couple of times they pose a threat, but for the large part their direct game hasn't worked. The chances they've created hasn't been enough. They might need to make an adjustment or two in the second half. Get the ball played along the deck a little bit more. South Hobart will be the happier of the two sides. They've controlled possession, but Zebras have defended pretty well. Just the one moment where they're able to break them down. A moment of magic from Matthew Lewis, the unlikely source. Has them ahead 1-0, although can Zebras find something? We're now ticked into the 49th minute here. I'm not sure where we've found 4 minutes of added time in the first half, so surely the whistle's got to go here in a second. I didn't think Walsh was off for that long. So, still we go on. Lewis throws it in. Finds Kemp. Runs forward. Another look at the watch from Barker. Still hasn't blown. Hamlet has been good, but he's turned it over, and we're just waiting here. Hacked forward towards Man. One last thing to deal with, and then bang! What a volley! That is outstanding from Kemp! Well, we've seen a couple of goals of quality from Kemp this year, but that is one of the goals of the season. Kobe Kemp has launched the volley from 30 yards. Top corner, pick that out. The 49th minute, Zebras must have thought the halftime whistle was coming. And have a look at this again. The header back, and, well, exaggerating with 30 yards, 20 yards. How about that? You will not hit a ball sweeter. Absolutely brilliant from Kemp, and he's making a habit of this. Long-range goals from midfield. It's a good trait to have. 2-0 South Hobart, and Barker now brings the half to an end. Well, what a turn of events here. South Hobart are going to go into the box buoyed by that 2-0. And given the way Zebras have set out there still to defend, it's going to be very hard for them to change their game up in the second half now. That is huge in the context of the game, Damian Gill.
It certainly is. I tell you what, Kemp, you're right, he's made a habit of this. I think that's 3 or 4 absolutely cracking long-range goals he's kicked this year. Beautiful, beautiful stuff from Kemp. Absolutely spectacular. And the goal before that, Mount Lewis, wasn't a bad one either. So that's the thing about the Zebras. They make you really work for your goals, and sometimes it takes a spectacular. But they've had 2 good finishes this half. South Hobart have a deserved lead, you've got to say, into the second half. We might queue up that Braden Mann incident if we can, Ash Wilkes, cameraman extraordinaire, and just have a second look at that, because that could have maybe been a turning point in the game if he was shown red. We'll see it again. Walsh with the ball. Is Hunt trailing him? Mann comes into frame now. He's coming at it quickly. I think he sees here that he needs to brace for contact. He does. He holds up. And the elbow's out, but I think he comes into the back of Mann. Barker was in a good position. Very good position, in fact. So he comes across. Bit of an elbow to the neck and into the back. I mean, 6 of one, half a dozen of the other for me. If he's shown yellow, I'm not gonna really say that definitely should have been a red. If he's shown a red, I'm not gonna say he's stiff. That's the way I see it. But as Passy said, maybe somewhat fortunate to get away with just a yellow card there, Braden Mann. And in the end, it's been pretty important for South Hobart. They keep their charger out there. They're a real sharp shooter in Braden Mann. They lose 2-0 to the half here. We might have a look at the first 2 goals of the game. They were good goals from South Hobart. As we've said throughout the first half, Andrew Cooling, Zebras are a good defensive team. It takes a fair bit to break them down. So here was the first goal. It was good work from Ben Hamler. A little finessed effort. And he dinked around Harrison there and fired into the bottom left. So it was a superb finish from Lewis. His first goal in South Hobart colours. And the celebration started there for South Hobart. From there was a bit of a cagey patch where neither team had real stranglehold on the game. South Hobart certainly looking the better of the 2 teams when on the ball. But right on the edge of the half, Kemp unleashes a superb volley. About probably 22 yards into the top left. Right, little he could do in net. And that sends South Hobart into the sheds in a very, very good position.
Yeah, they'll be buoyant. As you said, Zebras, they set out their stall to defend, and for the most part, they've defended very well. But just a couple of moments of magic from South Hobart players for spectacular goals. That's how they were going to have to beat them. They've not looked like they've been able to get a regulation goal, but a couple of magical hits. That one from Kemp in particular. You're not going to volley a ball any better than that. It's left the Zebras with it all to do in the second half. 2-0's a pretty good buffer from what we've seen in the first half. They're really going to have to change things up if they're going to find a couple of goals. South haven't been troubled. So we'll have a look at the better players for the first half. South Hobart, you'd have to say, Lewis at right back, capping off a pretty strong performance with his goal. He's been marauding down that right-hand side with Hamlet, causing quite a few problems. And obviously, he's battled hard, hasn't had his huge influence on the game so far. Cam Rogers, for me, has been the one in midfield, just pulling the strings. He's barely misplaced a pass all half. He's set up some chances with some good play. I've really enjoyed his game. And yeah, I'd probably say Rogers and then obviously Kemp in midfield have been great. And that strike, outstanding. For the Zebras, I've liked McEwen working hard up top. He's had a couple of chances though, and you've got to take them. And in a game like this, that could well be the difference. But I suppose for them, Hayes been their best player. You'd say he's been the standout at the back. Not at fault for either of the goals. It's barely put a foot wrong. I thought Walsh has been really good at right back. Combative is probably a fitting word given that coming together. And, well, they've got it all to do. I thought that Harrison had a pretty good game before the goal that Lewis scored, and unfortunately he's probably got to cop the blame for that one. So he's setting out your stall like that, it's tough. And Muller has been their standout player in midfield. I thought he's broken the play up really well. What about you, Damian?
Well, you're right in saying that the difference between the two teams so far is the finishing. I mean, there's been two really pretty specky goals from South Hobart, and they've been probably the better side in general play in terms of they've looked clean, they've looked the more likely to threaten. But it's been a real arm wrestle, and Zebras had a couple of good chances themselves and didn't take it. I've liked much the same as you. The game of Rogers, I think he's been outstanding so far. Picked out passes to perfection. And the attacking pack of South Hobart have all threatened at stages, but no one's taken the game by the scruff of the neck there either yet. I think credit has to go to the Zebras' defence. They make it really, really hard to break them down. Hay in particular has marshalled them well. And I've really enjoyed the contest so far. 2-0 probably doesn't paint a fair picture for Zebras at this point in time. I think maybe South Hobart deserved a lead, maybe 1-0, but 2-0, that'll hurt them. But we've seen games like these before. They'll come out firing in the second half, and Zebras will hope for a game of two halves and try and take something from this contest if it's a point or even three. But the long direct route is maybe becoming a little bit predictable from them, I think. A few tweets in. Corndog has said, man tried to soften the blow with his body, but the elbow has no real reason to be raised. Barker wouldn't have seen the elbow. Well, that's a fair point. Barker was blinded probably to the fact the elbow's out and more sees the contact coming into man's back. James Wilson's tweeted in 4 minutes of out of time, but Hay is fuming. Not like Kim to be in the middle of controversy. ... A little snipe at Kim Possible Barker there. But he's been the ref of the year for a fair while, so his record does stack up. But I'll just let you know, Kim, that wasn't me that said that. It was James Wilson over the tweet, because I'm still a bit scared of you. So half-time here at KG5 Football Park as the SAP kids out on the pitch for a bit of half-time entertainment. Certainly plenty of entertainment in that first half. 2 sizzling goals from South Hobart. They have a lead. We'll be back with the second half shortly. back here at KG5 for the second half for the SAP kids from Hobart Zebras just making their way off the pitch. Referees preparing for the second half. Bit of controversy in that first half. We were having a bit of chat amongst us off camera. A few challenges there that maybe we're a bit lucky to escape with less than they did. One from Gill, we remember, with Walter just streaming away. Fairly little cynical effort. Professional foul from Gill. Clipped him down and didn't receive a slice of cheese. Maybe lucky to escape that. McEwen also gave Kim Barker one of the almighty bakes in the middle of the pitch, and probably yet again lucky to escape. And then, of course, Braden Mann. We've watched it a few times, and I think we're all shared in the opinion that if Mann showed red there, he can't have too many complaints. I think he would have gratefully taken the cheese and walked away from the situation.
Yeah, and then the final controversy, of course, as was pointed out on Twitter, and I was wondering how we got 4 minutes of added time, but I suppose it is what it is. You play to the whistle, and at the end of the day, they should have, mind you, good luck defending that strike, actually. It was a clearing header that lobbed to him, but that was a superb hit. Absolutely superb hit from Kemp. As we said, making somewhat of a habit for that. So South Hobart to kick us off to start the second half here. They've got a 2-0 lead. Zebras, will they change things up here? As trying to find Hamlet down the right. Tolkien might just see that one out of play. It's a pretty well weighted ball though, and he gives him a chance, but Tolkien in the end was good enough to see it out of play. A good hustle from Hamlet there. Just trying to box him in at the start of the half. I don't think we've got any personnel changes out there. Having a look, seems to be the same setup. So Walsh staying on the pitch. Obviously some concerns over possible concussion there after that hit. But both teams remaining the same so far. Rogers wins the header. It's away from Harrison. Flicked on. Lewis dueling hard here on this left-hand side, coming across to cover was Brown. Lewis did his best to keep it in play, but it had just snuck out of play there. And Muller leaves it for Tolkill. I thought Muller was one of the better players in the first half. Very solid, one of the duels. Engels lost his footing there, so the throw will just slide on straight through to Quayle, and Hunt just calmly takes a touch and plays it back to Ludford. So will we see a change in style from the Zebras? Their setup would have worked in the first half. They just could have taken one of those chances. They only have the two for McEwen, but both times Kane Pearce stood tall. The first one in particular, an outstanding save, but you feel they're going to need to create more than two chances in this half. They might need to just start playing the ball along the ground a little bit more. Not sure the direct route is going to help them too much. That's some good play in there from Hay. He's been very solid charging forward, but Rogers wins out. As it to Kemp. Now Walter. Here's the wrecking ball. Cuts inside of Walsh. What can he do? Centering, looking for Mann, but getting across again was Hay. But here's Mann, who jinks around a couple. He's surrounded by four. He lays it back. Oh, Rogers not far off there. Another long-range goal. It stays 2-0.
Loving the Twitter activity today. Trent Cornish, Walsh injury, Sunday injury, 2 or 3 lost bowls. 4 minutes, not a huge talking point in my opinion. Big Kim Possible fan, old Corn Dog. No, but that's he makes a valid point. There were a few incidents throughout the first half, but I'm not sure if they equate to 4 minutes. But we'll trust Kim Barker. And Mitch Dent also on the tweet, just alluding to the fact that Braden Mann will most likely post something on Facebook later on about the incident, and I reckon that if the bookies were taking bets for that, it'd be $1 as it comes down the line from Tog Hill, chested down. He's back in it with Mann. He slides in. Mann comes away with it. Dinks round one. Lofts the ball over the top. It's overstruck and it's out for a right goal kick. Graham Wright may be a bit stiff today. He's got 2 in the old onion bag, and he's had very little he could do about either of them. It's back with him now as Mann comes in to shut him down. Plays long. Kemp guides it to Hunt and then flicked on from Rogers. Kemp kept running. He comes to Hamlet. He looks to bustle into the middle. One by Hay, one well. Malcolm in a bit of space. Propels a long curling ball looking for Warner to run onto it. Pearce meets it with a head at the edge of his box. Ingles tracks it down. Plays for Fag. The skipper picks out a pass for Malcolm. He dinks it on looking for Ingles. Maybe a little bit too cute. Comes for Lewis now and he rattles away a clearance. And Hay will just steady the ship for the Zebras. A chance gone begging potentially there with Malcolm in a bit of space. Maybe a little bit too cute on that occasion. Could have taken a touch and even a shot as Walsh goes on a riding run down the right. Plays in for McEwen. Looks to receive back. It's cut off. Walter on the ball now. Races away. Finds the outlet in Chris Hunt. The wrecking ball. Runs down that left-hand side and Harrison does well to see it out and out for a throw-in. So Hunt to throw, deep in the front third. Finds Quayle. Quayle lets it run off his boot for Hunt again. He's been ruled offside by Brenton Copra, and that thwarts a South Hobart attack before it really got going. And right to take the free kick.
So launching it along here. Brown goes up, doesn't win it. Flicked on by Engels, and here's McEwen into space. It's a dangerous ball for Warner. He's got Lewis for company. He's back to goal here. He just settles back and waits for support. And they'll steady it down now and try and get some passing going. Didn't see a lot of this in the first half from Zebras. Good to see them. Just knock it around. He switches it out to the right to Walsh. He lays it back. And again, as we've got a bit of Crow versus Seagull entertainment here on the near sideline. A long ball looking for Mann. Toghill just got enough on it back to the keeper there. And now Toghill is bursting away down the left. Asked for some support, no one on offer, so just plays it back. And Hay and Harrison will just pass it along the back. You see Walsh playing very attacking, and now Kano Pearce is being attacked by a horde of Seagulls. It's all happening here at KG5. In the middle, good work there from Muller, breaking up Walter, but it falls as far as Quayle. He gets forward, he's overhit his cross though, and Tolkien will settle it down. Pretty poor clearance really. It finds its way to Hunt in space. Not a lot of pressing going on here from Zebra. Still content to sit back pretty deep, playing a very deep line. Ludford looks it across to Quayle. Looks at full. That's a good run from Hunt and he controls it nicely. What can he do? He plays it in for Mann. Getting a piece of it though was Hay. Now here's Kemp. Don't want to give him space to shoot outside the area. Hamlet fighting hard but well broken up, and now Toghill can break away. He's set a task for Engels and it was too much. It was well read by Dogger Brown, and he's running out of play, rendering his effort to milk the free kick completely pointless, but he read that quite nicely to break up the attack there, Brown. He's been solid today. Here's Engels again, cuts inside. Lays it back for Muller. Some dangerous man sticking out a boot there and almost getting on the end of it. Walsh, who's spent more time in the opposition half than his own half so far in the second stanza, has been really pushing forward, but he'll have to truck back here as South get on the ball. Man to Rogers, South Hobart content just to work the ball around, and sets a real task for Quayle, and that was a poor pass really from Walter. Had plenty of time and space, no pressure on him, and I'm not sure how fast he thinks Quayle was, but the answer is not that fast. Right, switches it across to Toghill, who's been involved in plenty so far in this game. We are seeing a more patient build-up from Zebras, but it is equating to turnovers, and Toghill will just watch this one roll over the byline.
Tweet in from Brady Watson asking whether the big difference is no Kurt Engels. He's certainly one of them. Much more menacing side with Kurt Engels out on the pitch as Warner gets this one. Brown comes over and checks him. Engels has a bit to say. Zebras with plenty to say. Brown quickly back into position. Barker, plenty to say with the coach. I'm not sure what exactly Barker intends to do here. He brings Brown across. Has plenty to say. Very, very fortunate to escape a cheese on first glance. I would like a replay. He's come across. No eyes for a ball. I'm not sure how that's not a yellow card, boys. Welcome your feedback.
Yeah, very fortunate. Very fortunate there, Brown. Kimmy Barker just telling the manager, hey, just to take a seat. And we'll just stop talking to you for a minute. Just have a listen to the conversation between Hay and Kim Barker. He's starting to sit down or be sent off. And defiantly, he is still standing at the edge of his technical area. So, is he calling his bluff perhaps? He does have a point there, I think, Hay. He's surely got a right to stand, but I think Kim would just settle for him shutting up. He wasn't particularly happy. I'm going to say, hey, to be fair, there's somewhat of a point. That's surely a yellow card that should have been called. But anyway, this game just threatening to boil over at the moment, I think. We've got a man down inside the area. And we'll have a look what's going on. Still down on the ground. Let's see if we can get a replay for you. But it is just threatening to boil over a little bit. As we saw the foul there, but it's at the other end. He's still down. So, pause and the silence breaking over KG5 here. McEwen now getting to his feet. He's holding his back. Not sure what happened there. Took a bit of a clattering in the box, but just boiling over. Strange period of the game here, Damian.
Strange period. I'm just thinking, geez, 2-0 to South Hobart. They're very, very fortunate to be out there with 11 men still, considering the controversy shrouding that Braden Mann incident. Could have easily been a straight red, and then Dogger Brown, it puzzles me how he wasn't shown a second yellow with that effort. No eyes for the ball, really. Just coming across to just stop a run. Did it. It was a very professional foul, but a slice of cheese every day of the week for mine. Very, very lucky to be still out there. And something South Hobart can capitalise on as Hunt breaks down the left-hand side. He's got Harrison providing chase. He's burnt him off. He lays across for Walter, meets it on the volley, and it's wide to the right. Beautiful piece of work from Chris Hunt. Just burnt off Harrison. Great service, but just scuffed the effort in the end, did Walter on the volley. This play goes on, and Walsh bursts from defence. Down the right-hand side in those lime cordial boots. Throws it into the middle. Cut off by Lewis, but it's back with Fag, who propels long and strong out on the left. Warner on the ball. Lewis for company. Looks inside. McEwen an option. Opts to drop it up for Malcolm. Helps it along. It's a long-range header from Muller that never truly threatened Pearson goal. And South Hobart have it in their defence. This play goes on. Ludford on the ball. Picks out Quayle. Steered towards the left-hand side. It's cut off by Harrison. Fairly direct approach still from Zebras in this one as Engels drops back for Muller. It's cut off well by Kemp. Just tackling Walsh there as Rogers picks the ball up and tries a long pass for Hamlet. Yet again, a bit too much salt and pepper on this one, and Wright collects at the edge of his area.
Yeah, just feel like those incidents just taking a bit of pace out of the game. Just the stoppage in play suits South Hobart with a 2-0 lead. They'd be more than happy for any momentum to be stalled. So South Hobart attacking, as we said. Lucky to have 11 men out there on the park. Runs well on that though. There's some nice play here from Warren getting the better of Lewis, and pushing forward is Hay. An unfamiliar position there, surging forward, but the ball We'll go to South Hobart. Zebra's not really making a lot of headway in creating attacking opportunities here. They need to find something as we tick towards the hour mark, still trailing by 2 goals. Here is Dogger Brown. Launches that one forward, and South Hobart now perhaps the team that are starting to just sit back a little more and pump it a bit long. Lewis with the throw in. Short for Walter. Oh, lovely work there again from Rogers. Wins it for Hamlet, crossing dangerously. Well cut out by Harrison though. But only as far as Kemp, who looks to get into the area. Well defended again, and Tolkien will take it away. Resolute stuff at the back there. Well read by Ludford, gets in. Who's perhaps looking for the free. Kim tells him to play on. Here's Fag in midfield. Waits for something to present, nothing does, so just goes sideways in the end. And they're just patiently waiting, but not a lot of movement upfield here for Zebras. They're looking a little bit stagnant. Eventually goes the long ball to the left. Lewis and Warren are. Lewis gets his body position a bit wrong, shouts for handball. Play on though. Here is Warrener. As time, centres for McEwen. They shifted out to the right. Here's a good chance now and taking the shot on, but no real chance there was Engels, and a good save from Pearce, who quickly gets it moving, but he's thrown it straight to Toghill. Now in midfield, oh, look at the spin of Hay, but it achieved nothing standing his ground was Kemp. The battle of the number 3s there. It was very solid from Kemp. Stood his ground, won the ball. Hamlet looking to feed man in space, but Toghill and Fag combined to negate that. Lewis across, and just dummies and left to step out of play. A little bit of argy-bargy there between Man and Toghill. Man flicking on now, but easily cut out. And they'll pass it back all the way to right. Zebra's a bit more pace to their ball movement in the last few minutes. They need it. They've got to find a couple of goals from somewhere, and haven't really created much. Just the one chance of note in the second half, which was a pretty comfortable save in the end for Pearce, who's done all that's required of him. Toghill cutting inside. Can he force the issue and make something happen? Not with passing like that, he won't. He's put it straight down Quayle's throat, who hacks it out of there. Walsh is jumped all over by Hunt, and then looks to turn around him. Nice play here from the number 9. He charges in the area, he cuts it back, and a chance now, and it's agonisingly wide from Engels. Great control, and he got his shot off, but just wide. And again, Zebra's just lacking that clinical finish, that killer edge in the area. And that is so close to curling in. And Pearce breathes a sigh of relief. It remains 2-0.
That was not far off at all. South Hobart played out of defence, sharked off the boot of Hunt by Walsh, but a bit of miscommunication between him and McEwen gifts it straight back to South Hobart, and they're on. Pumped long, cut off with a head by Fag. He finds Harrison, puts it into midfield, calls for his charges to run. McEwen gets onto it. Engels, not a bad looking ball, looking for Hay. It's cut off with a head by Brown. It's now with Warrener. Puts it in the middle, maybe asking a bit too much of Hay. Kemp wins, smashes forward, looking for Hamlet to run onto it. Strong bit of body work there by Toghill, and a foul against Hamlet in the process. Definitely had the big hammer times measure there. Not too many could say that, I reckon, in a one-on-one physical encounter. The big Togsy just hitting the weights, maybe. There's Hugh Undy looks to be introduced, and Cam Rogers will take a spot on the bench. 63 minutes gone, still coming back from his injury, so being pretty conservative with Rogers, and on comes Hugh Undy, who's another player, another important player coming back from injury. We saw a bit of him against Kingbury. He was almost a little bit of a match winner for them off the bench. If you can show any glimpses of that this afternoon, they're in for a bit of fun at the back, the Zebras, because he was very, very electric when he came off the bench against the Lions. Toghill tackles and tries a bit of trickery and sees it out. Out for a throw from the goal scorer Lewis, finds Walter. Runs off his boot. Hay gets involved. Plays for Toghill. It's now with Harrison. He tries to measure a ball. It's cut off with a head by Man. In the end, Fag does enough to scoop it over his own head. Hay onto the ball. Does well until Walter comes in and steals. Muller chops it out. Kobe Kemp gets a touch, and here's Undy's first real involvement. Goes to Brown. Brown back now for Pearce. Balls off his boot and into the bullseye. Malcolm wins the contest. McEwen turns and fires and finds Engels. Looks for his run. Quayle does enough in the end to see it away from him. You see that second surge coming from Engels. And Quayle just found the afterburners to cut it off. See it out for a Zebra's corner.
Very nice piece of defending that from Quayle. Just got the boot in. Just looked like Engels had him beat for pace, but he recovered well and got the boot in. Zebra's starting to look a bit brighter. And you've got to say the move to switch around Hay and Fag has been a good one. He was very influential back in the first half, Hay, but with the need for goals, he's pushed on and is spending a lot more time in the attacking half and is making things happen as the cross comes in. They got anyone there. Bounces off a shoulder and now Mann will burst down this right-hand side. Hamlet is breaking into space. And he'll try and curl one, but that's not going to come around enough for Hunt. And Dwayne Walsh can just play that back to his keeper and then get the 1-2 and ease off down the right-hand side. And the flyer in the lime green boots. They haven't really got much to go to, so in the end, Muller's just going to pass back to Wright, who looks for Malcolm, flicks on, but couldn't find anyone. Lunford on it now for Souths, and you see they're playing a much more direct style of game in this second half. Really looking to get it long. Here we go again. It's been a good match up today. Warner and Lewis. It's been a tough battle. No, Toghill. Throwing in for McKeown. Back to Toghill. And speaking of good battles, him and Hamlet have been going at each other all day. Nothing malicious, just two fierce players really flying in, giving their all. It's been good to watch. And at times, Hamlet's got the better of him. But Toghill has certainly negated him fairly well. That's well read by Quayle. He's played a very good game at fullback today, Quayle. He's read the play well. He's just overhit that one for Mann, but again, just reading the play well, using a burst of speed and playing it looking for Mann with a 2-goal lead. They can afford to just now change their style, to just hit him on the counter. So Harrison goes across to Fag, who's now playing at centre half. He curls a nice little ball there for Toghill. Can something come now? South sitting deep. Here is Toghill for McEwen. Kemp did well. Numbers went out. And you can see, look at the massive body South Hobart are getting back now. It's going to be tough for the Zebras to break down, although almost fell kindly there. Not quite. Here's Walsh. Hunt dispossessing him. Not Hunt, it was Mann, sorry. Here's a chance now. Down the right-hand side, there's an overhit cross that's going to harmlessly fly over the head of Pearce. No threat to his goal there. And Zebras finding it tough to break down this South Hobart side. The 2-goal buffer, they can afford to just sit back a little bit. It might take something special, like we saw in the first half from South. It took a couple of special moments to get their 2 goals. It might just take a moment of inspiration to kind of find a way back into this game. And who do you think's likely to provide that spark, Damo?
For the Zebras, I think Hay looms large as the one that, well, he's already shown glimpses of giving them a bit of spark in midfield, but Sunday McEwen has to find an extra gear, I think, and finish off some chances if they're going to do anything. And Ethan Engels always a bit of a goal sneak. They're the 3 most likely for me, but South Hobart look in control at this point in time. The game's still an arm wrestle of sorts, but they've got the 2-goal buffer, so they don't really need to panic. It comes to Ludford now. Out of defence, sweeps forward, finds Hunt, comes to retrieve, plays for Kemp, who's been good. He's grown as the game's gone on, and that goal probably helps things as it comes to Walter. He finds his way, weasels around a couple, lets it run to the byline, looks to square it up, and it's caught by Wright at his near post. He wallops it forward, long and strong. Bounces away from McEwen. He looks to contest with Ludford, but Ludford just holds up and watches it over himself and out for a throw-in. So we're into the 69th minute here. Not a heap of time for the Zebras to claw their way back into things. But goals can happen pretty quickly if you get the opportunities. Throw in now. Undy feeds down the line. It's cut off well by Walsh. Plays down for Engels. Spins and turns and plays for Malcolm. Feeds for Walsh, who kept it on running, but bobbles off his boot and lets in South Hobart, and they're away now through Hunt. Looks to pick out Hamlet. Maybe a little over-ambitious with the ball. Comes to Fag, who streams away. Lays off for Muller. Muller to Warrener. He cuts inside. A good challenge in the end from Lewis. Sees it come to Walter. Man with a desperate lunge sees it away from Harrison and then to Kemp, who finds Hunt. Calling for an early ball on the bench. He delivers it over the head of Man. He leaves it for Hamlet. He's got Toghill inside him. Pressures up well. Delivers in, and it's seen clear by the skipper. Henry Fagg comes to McEwen. He looks to turn with it. In the end, Brown has some support through Alex Walter, who sees it clear of McEwen and out now with Undy. Switches up, finds Lewis. He's got time and space to maybe have a shot. He lays off in the end for Hamlet. Maybe should have shot there in the end, Lewis. Bit of time and space out of him. We saw what he did in the first half when he got onto one. Maybe he should have taken that confidence on and brought it on himself to take the shot as right. Takes his kick, long and strong, off the head of Brown. Back the other way, Muller wins in midfield with a header. Comes to Walter, who looks to use that turn of speed. Lays in for Hamlet, cut off nicely, and it's back with Hay. Dispossess, comes to Kemp, who can't pick out a pass to Hamlet. Maybe just backpedaling at the time when it was coming for him, and it's with Muller now. With his right boot, measures a ball right on the left-hand side. It was tantalising, but just streamed too quickly over the line and beat Warrener to it. It's out for a South Hobart throw in their defence. The Zebras prepare to make a change. Malcolm off. David Cox on a Malcolm. Thought he battled pretty hard. He definitely can't say he didn't give 100% out there. He was throwing his weight around. He did well. A change now for South Hobart. Hamlet off on Hall. Darcy Hall. A bit of an embarrassment of attacking Riches at South Hobart. Darcy Hall just strolls on off the bench. Thrown now, and Hall flicks on. His first involvement is a header. It's taken from Fagg and finds it to Harrison. I thought maybe Ben Hamlet had spent his petrol tickets. He's one of those players, he only knows one way. He runs hard both ways, gives you so much. But rarely does he get 90 minutes out of himself because of the way he attacks the contest, essentially. Back now for Harrison. Switches. Finds Fagg, who's settled into defence. No, nothing really offering on, so he just clatters it into his South Hobart opponent. In the end, Warrener does well, steals from Hall. Delivers down the left-hand side. It's a foul against Matt Lewis. It'll be a free kick from for Zebras from range. So we tick into the 72nd.
So can they find something from this set piece? 20 minutes to go. They need to conjure up something here if they're going to get anything out of this game. You touched on it, but what a luxury for South Hobart to be able to bring the likes of Undy and Hall off the bench. Really is an embarrassment of riches. So he takes it short here for the centre half and couldn't really direct it to anyone. He's fought hard, Warrener, and he puts it to Toghill, who's immediately shut down there by Undy. Well, Ludford, sorry. Can't see a thing in that corner of the pitch from our commentary position up here in the stand. So Toghill launches the throw in, going down with McEwen, but no shout for a penalty there. Fagg crosses it in, looking for Engels, but rising high was Quayle, who's been really good. And then wins that one, and he's won the throw for his team. So well done. He's had a very good game today, the left back for South. Both their fullbacks have. He and Lewis really been very good players. Very much two-way players, offering plenty in attack and defence. Morton will be quite happy with his fullbacks today. He plays it in short for Kemp. Speaking of good players, he's been ever reliable in midfield today. And capping it off with a fantastic goal. He's fighting hard here. His man. He turns with that speed of his and good defence there in the end from Gill, but it still might fall for Alex Walter. He jewels with Fag and he goes down. No chance of a penalty. And that's some fancy footwork here. But Dogger Brown was strong and uncompromising across to deal with Hay, who certainly had an impact since moving into a more advanced position. He's been one of the better players out there today. Outstanding at the heart of defence in the first half, and has certainly offered them another outlet and has looked good since moving upfield. Here's Harrison now for Walsh. It's getting pretty desperate now for Zebras. They need to find a goal soon. South looking very organised. It's been a very professional display from them today. They've got the lead since then. Their structures have been tough to break down. They've kept control of the ball nicely. It's made it hard for the Zebras. So they get forward with Fag. Lewis wins the header though, and directed it nicely to Brown, and that's going to go for a goal kick, I'd imagine. McEwen unable to chase that one down. So Pearce will take the goal kick and might just eat a few more seconds off the clock in the process. No, he's in a hurry. Unusual for the goalkeeper. Would have thought that just eat a few seconds off there. Now he does, and he'll launch that one out looking for Quayle. His first touch was good, but he had Engels for company and he's back the other way. Charging down this right-hand side, tightly marked by Kemp. Does well, finds Hunt. Brings it under control and flicks it on, but out of play, and it'll be a Zebra's throw. 15 minutes remaining here at KG5. As it stands, South Hobart looking like they're going to move within a point of Olympia at the top of the table. And those two sides meeting in a couple of weeks. That will certainly be a clash to be looked forward to, but Zebras themselves not giving up on this game yet. Can they find something? Everyone back for Souths. Shot blocked well by Brown. And now here's Darcy Hall surging forward, the fresh legs, but Hay was back to cover. He's done well, and also well done by Fag in defence. So some good work from those two, the blokes who swap positions. Soggy will take the throw. So what can they find here? They've got nothing on offer, so he just goes back to right. And they might just need to pump this one long. They don't have a lot of time left on the clock to be just patiently passing it around the back like this. But to be fair, nobody is moving. They look very flat-footed up top at the moment. Eventually he just launches it long. And Quayle with a pretty poorly directed header, and it goes out of play. Can Zebras get something here?
Walsh throws back for Harrison on halfway. Does enough to find Muller, and Muller returns it to him. Muller clutching at his left string. Down the right-hand side they go to Walsh. He cuts it back rather unconvincingly. Cox with an involvement to find Hay. Hay tries to nip it into the box. It's cut off by a sea of South Hobart orange shirts. Fag does well to see it by Hall. Comes to Hill. Guides it along to Warrener. And out of play for a throw-in. Oh, Fag absolutely cannons one into Muller. As a result, Muller passes it to him, but had absolutely no involvement in it. Just came back with a real thud. It's with Harrison now. Finds Cox, the substitute. They played around each other a couple of times. Now it's back with Cox. Not a lot offering up ahead of the Zebras' defence. Play through to Engels in the end. He finds Muller. Nudges it back for his goalkeeper. Right. Got to try and find a goal from somewhere. They're playing long and down the right-hand side. Lime cordial boots. Walsh collides with Quayle out there, and in the end it falls into the grateful arms of Kane Pearce, who rolls out and finds Undy. Turns with it, goes back to Ludford. He plays it short to Quayle. eerily quiet here at KG5 Football Park at the moment. Maybe just Zebras fans waiting for something to happen. We're 79 minutes old in this game, and Zebras still need to reel in a 2-goal deficit as Toghill does enough somehow to get it by Hall and Mann, who came in to provide pressure. Toghill whips long and strong off the head of Warrener, and it's down. Brown controls on his chest. Whacks forward off the boot of Undy. He's in a battle with Muller. Muller drops it off, finds Cox off the chest of Kemp. Not too much hand in that one despite protests. Comes to Undy, nice little footwork, sees him by Cox. Toes along, finds Walter. Slips out wide, finds Hall. What can he do here, Darcy Hall? He's got Fag for company, opts to go to the byline, tries to square it up. Nobody home at back post but Walsh. It wasn't a bad ball from Hall, but no one there in an orange shirt. They're still in possession though. It's Quayle on it. Finds Undy. Back to that very, very solid defence is Quayle. He's got Kemp offering him board if he wants him. Opts to take on Engels. Plays it down the left-hand side. It's not a bad ball at all, but Hunt maybe not wise to it coming so swiftly. It's with Wright now. Punts long off the head of Brown. Gives it straight to Fag. Comes to Warrener, who looks to capitalise on a bit of a slip from Lewis. Can't. So Warrener drops it. Throwing now for Lewis down the line. Toghill wins a header rather unconvincingly, and it bounces out off Hall and out for a Zebras throw.
Here's McEwen. Plays it back for Toghill, who's been busy. Been pretty good today, Toghill. He's fought hard. As has Huey Ludford, ever reliable at the heart of South Hobart's defence. Didn't have a lot to do in the first half as the ball just clutters directly above our heads here. That was fairly convincingly dealt with, you'd have to say, by Ludford. Just thumping it onto the roof of the stand here. So, Toghill with the throw. Do they have anything left in the tank here, Zebras? Lewis again shutting down Warrener. He's had the better of that matchup today. Warrener's throw just stays in, and Toghill, no, it didn't stay in, so that was poor really from Warrener. And Toghill gives him a rather filthy glare. So Lewis with the throw. 81 minutes ticking by here at KG5. 2-0 still the score. And back. Flicked on. Just hacks that one forward. Looking for Engels, and Quayle gets all in his back, and they'll get the set piece opportunity here, and you'd imagine it'll be everyone forward now for Zebras, all the big bodies into the box. So ticking by. What can they find here? Is there anything? It's as good a chance as they've had. You'll cross into a dangerous area, and flicked on is there. Southbury ball. Ball to hand more than anything if it was, but a good cross in there from Engels. Muller causing some troubles. Again, they'll just hack that one forward, and again, that's just smacked out of there this time by Kemp. Toghill, he has not stopped working, Matthias Toghill, still charging forward, and he's surrounded, but they'll draw it back to an earlier indiscretion, and to be fair, even for Toghill, hard to take the most advantage when you're surrounded by four people, and yeah, that's there, just a little clip of the legs from behind, and here's a chance. That's a very wasteful free kick though from Fag, and just keeping it in there on this right-hand side. And it was poor there from Darcy Hall in the end, and Dogger Brown just lets him know it wasn't good enough, setting the standards there, the big fella, the harder defence. Here's Toghill with the throw. He launches that one long, but there were two on him. This one will be played out. Walter, that's a dangerous pass to be making. Held up well by Mann, brings Hunt into the play, but he's turned it straight over, and Engels returns the favour. They lob that one forward, and attacking it. Up there is Ludford, and fighting hard was Hunt. It's really developing into a scrappy affair. That'll suit South Hobart just fine with this lead. They're more than happy for it to be bogged down in this part of the ground. Quayle will win the throw as it comes off Walsh, who is increasingly becoming a right winger as they chase this goal to bring them back into the game and give them some form of late hope. Ludford with time. Directs his pass straight to Fag. And he goes back to right. He waits for something to happen. Eventually just rolls it in for Fag. The run starts to be made. Ignored Warner, who doubles back. He's immediately surrounded by 3 defenders. Does well to get rid of it and flick back again to Fag. They're just patiently building up here now. Can they make something of it? They've got a lot of numbers back though, South. Walsh just passes back, and again, that's a good ball though in behind. Here's Walsh surging into the box, and he goes down. It was just outside the area though, so just a free kick. But a good opportunity here for a late lifeline for South Hobart. As we have a look at the replay. Late lifeline for Zebras even. He just went down pretty easily there for mine, Walshy. Can they find something? You're always going to though. Is that inside the box or outside? The contact outside. And yeah, he's made the most of that one, I gotta say, Walsh. I'm not sure there was a lot in that. Anyway, they take the free kick. It's through a sea of bodies and just that clear it wide. Man, and they will get the free kick for a pretty clear handball.
Protest all you want, Walshy. That was clear as crystal. That was a shocker. Free kick now to be taken by Pearce outside his 18-yard box. Pumps long and strong. Off the head of Fag and down for Cox. Comes back to Zebras. On a minor intervention. Comes to McEwen. He takes the chance and bears it into the bottom left. There was not much in that. That was a far from convincing build-up. And they scuffle for it in the net. Quayle came to get it. Pearce far from happy, but realistically, Quayle's the one holding things up. Pearce filthy. I think he's merely taking his anger out on that. The fact that he's seen a goal go past him. We'll watch this one again. It was Warner. Went through. Should have been dealt with probably by Ludford. Nice little footwork by McEwen, you got to say, and well taken chance finishing into the bottom left. It wasn't the most convincing setup of a goal I've ever seen, but a good goal for McEwen. And a lifeline for Zebras. Late on in the piece. Can they cause the unlikely upset? A few Olympia fans here, and they certainly got excited. Glenn McNeil not far from us. Had a big grin after seeing that one fly into the net. Toghill now collides with Darcy Hall. Sees it down the end as Toghill, and it'll be a throw-in for South Hobart. 2-1 to South Hobart. We're into the 87th now. Ken Morton slightly more vocal in the last few moments. The goal would have concerned him. It was a well-taken chance, you got to say, from Adam McKeown. When you play the style Zebras are playing, that direct, try and catch them on a break sort of style of football, you got to take the chances when they come, and on that occasion, that's exactly what happened. It wasn't, as I said, it was a pretty messy build-up, but in the end, it's all about the back of the net, and he found it as Hunt gets inside, slips it across, it's saved, and it falls to man. He has a shot and is blocked. I believe it was blocked by Walsh. And he's blocked it wide to the right. Superb stuff by Walsh. As it comes to Hunt, we see the replay. Decent ball, good save from right. Came to man, he usually eats them for breakfast. Oh, Walsh. I don't know if he knew too much about it. He turned and it sort of flicked the back of his right boot and went wide. So, saved there as South Hobart looked to soak up a bit of the clock right in the corner. Interesting. Both coaches getting a bit more vocal here. And Zebras look to get it out of their defence through Toghill. He just whacks it. And it actually came out and back in. There's a few revs on the ball. Bit of a slow up here, trying to find a ball. South Hobart maybe playing some silly business. There we go, Lewis to throw it in. Long to the byline, Undy controls. Smothered by a couple of Zebras. Comes out for Walter, what can he do from this position? Gets by Toghill and then sees it out, and it'll be a goal kick for Wright. He's quick to take it. Pumped long and strong beyond halfway. One down by Brown. Taken from Harrison. Warner tries to get it. Lewis beats him to it. Comes to Hall. He can't quite find the ball for man. It's pumped from Harrison. Engels and Ludford collide. Ludford just heaves clear. It's in the bullseye. In congestion. Comes to Engels. Tries to just turn it around on the outside of his boot. Muller in midfield. Chips along. Trying to cut one over the top. Bounces away for Warner. Deep in their front third. Got Lewis for company. Looks to go left of Lewis. Lewis stands up to him. In the end, Lewis wins out, and it's a throw-in for South Hobart in their defensive third. You'd expect them to soak up more time. Corndog with an involvement over Twitter. Pet peeve. The ball will get back to the middle, run back to your position, and it will sort itself out. Why can you tackle the opponent? As play goes on, Hay with an opportunity. From the byline, he'll try and bring it under his spell, but he couldn't. As Ludford watched it over, and Pearce will again take a goal kick. And you'd think from here, South Hobart take the chocolates, all 3 points. It's been a fairly nervy finish.
Yep. Can Zebras find an equaliser? For the most part, it's been a pretty professional display by South, but in the last 10 minutes, the Zebs have just fought back and given them a few troubles here. And you wouldn't write them off finding an equaliser. South's just looking to shut this one down now. And we saw plenty of drama and injury time in the first half. I don't think we'll get 4 minutes of added time here in the second. As Quayle just taking his time here. And he'll be in no rush. Finally they lob it forward here and it's flicked on. South's controlling the ball. Some lovely work there by Mann. He's off. Ball under control. Here's Walter. He looked to slide it. Lewis is overlapping and Darcy Hall will pressure him and they do enough to win the throw, and they'll suit South Hobart just fine if they can lock it down here in this far corner. It's exactly where they want it to be. And they'll just try and kill time here. Darcy Hall with it. And he goes straight for the corner flag. But he's made an absolute hash of it and let it roll out. So Ken Toggy will get the Zebras going here. He throws it centrally. McEwen is very deep and they're just going to hack this one forward. Can Engels win? He's up against Brown, who was always favoured to win it, and it went straight to his teammate there. Oh, lovely work. Now here's a chance for Hall to seal it. He's got Harrison for company, who did really well defensively. Got the block in, but they're still not out of danger. Here's Hunt, looking to get around Walsh, who hits the deck. Recovers, belts it out of there. Can they find a way forward? It's locked in South's end of the ground here at the moment, and Kemp lays in Hunt. Jinks inside beautifully there, Hunt, and then says we'll just eat up some time here and play it back to Quayle. He goes down the left, and a nice turn of foot there, and very professionally just holding onto the ball, playing smart football here. Kemp, well, they were playing smart football, so Kemp thought Quayle was going to keep running on, and didn't in the end as we push into the 93rd minute. There can't be long left. They've got to get it forward here. Last roll of the dice. Can they win a flick on? No. Dogger Brown again. He's won most aerial duels today. He's been very fortunate to stay on the park, but while he has been on the park, he's done a very good job defending. There's not been much go past him, and I reckon that might just about be curtains here. They go back to Pearce. There can't be long left. Brown hacks it forward. Here's Muller. They've got to get it moving forward, but again they've turned it over, and it's a 4-on-2 here. Completely wasted by Walter. I don't know what he was really trying there. He puts it out wide. It might not matter. Harrison races after it, steals a few yards. He throws it in now to Muller, who's been good today. Back to right, and they've not looked like scoring here since they've got it back to 2-1. Credit to South Hobart. The blip on the radar. A bit of a mess for the goal they did concede. They would have been happy with that. It's the only real blip on the radar they've had this half. But from that moment on, they've just shut this game down and not given Zebras a sniff. It's been Souths doing all the attacking. They just dance around here, and that's a dangerous header from Mann, but flicked over the bar. We've gone down 93 minutes, 40 seconds. Surely the whistle can't be far off a few Zebras fans. And there's the Olympia scout team just starting to head for the exit. They've seen enough. It looks like they've seen a South Hobart team move within a point of them at the summit. Barring any late miracles, the foul throw, well, that's not going to help their cause. And again, a lot of added time here. We're into the 95th minute. So it looks like we're going to have South Hobart moving within a point at the summit. Won't that just be a cracking clash in a couple of weeks between those two teams? It's been a good one here today, KG5. South Hobart been the better team. Pearce just waits for this one. In the end, knocks it across. Holding on to the ball, though. Here we go. A late chance. A late set piece for Souths. Everyone forward. Right, get up there, son. Get up there. Everyone has to be getting in the box now, surely. Indeed, everyone has, bar the keeper. So, last roll of the dice here. Engels with the free kick. Will there be late drama? Engels with the free kick. We got Gill hovering outside the box. And then everyone else just chilling inside as he plays in. And that doesn't beat the first man. Righty! Oh, from downtown, the big fella. He might get a second chance. Oh, look at the skills from the keeper. He's played a beautiful ball in here to Engels. But it's well covered by Quayle. Well, wouldn't that have been a strange ending? Well, still we go. Crosses in. McEwen and Walsh, it was a 2-on-2. Still they don't deal with it. Brown flying bodies everywhere. We're ticking on still. 96 minutes. I don't know where the hell we've got 96 minutes from. And, well, there was controversy with that until in the first half. If South were to concede here, they would be filthy, because we've now ticked on to 96 minutes and still we play on. And another set piece here. And the South with the acid test here. Whipped into the dangerous area. Gill rising high. McEwen was there, and that'll spill over the line. And surely that must be it. Surely this must be brought to an end. We've had 6 minutes of added time, Damian. I don't know where from.
Yeah, see, we were contesting the 4 minutes of the first half. Where the hell's he plucked 6 from? But anyway, I love the late drama, so it all adds to it. Kane Pearce with a goal kick, maybe the last kick of the game. As King Barker blows his whistle to draw a close to a thrilling Round 8 Victory League encounter. South Hobart with the chocolates, all 3 points, sees them within a point at the top of the table. Olympia, of course, right up there. Zebras a little bit off the pace now. They go on next week. They play Olympia FC Warriors. As we see the table, lightning quick, Ash Wilkes. I don't know whether he'd already prepared it. But South Hobart on 18 points, Olympia on 19. Zebras a little bit off the pace on 14. And then the rest are all pretty well in a cluster down the bottom half. It was a thrilling contest, Andrew calling. Plenty in it, a physical encounter, bruising match. In the end, South Hobart reigned supreme. Take the chocolates, but Zebras, considering they're undermanned, they fought with a bit of valour out there, and I like what they brought to the contest.
Yeah, it was a really good game out there, a very enjoyable game for spectators. I think South Hobart probably deserved it. They had the better of the contest. That said, if Zebras had got something out of it, they could have no complaints, South, because they set out their stall very early to sit a bit deeper. They pushed on a bit as the game progressed, but clearly looking to counter-attack. We'll just run through a few of the better players today for Zebras. I thought the centre of defence was pretty well manned by Hay in the first half, and then Fag in the second half. I thought they obviously changed. I thought Hay was was probably the best player the Zebras had in the park today. Wherever he went, he had influence. Muller was also really good. And Gill really impressed me. Really battling hard, a physical game. But I thought he was one of their standout performers for South Hobart. Well, we touched on it. Cam Rogers just outstanding in his 60 minutes out there. And I thought the two that were subbed off were two of their better ones. Hamlet absolutely gave his all. He had a real influence on the game. Kobe Kemp alongside Rogers in midfield nearly put a foot wrong and just hammered home one of the strikes of the season. So we saw some mischief there from Quayle in net after the goal. He had a pretty good game, certainly antagonised the opposition, they'd have to say. He and Lewis, the fullbacks, both outstanding for South Hobart.
So that's it here from KG5, the last game of round 8 of the PS4 Victory League. We hope you enjoyed our broadcast. We'll be back with more action next weekend. Of now, South Hobart celebrate and take 3 points with them back to Darcy Street. For more news and information on this clash and any clash, head to sliceofcheese.net. Bye for now.